Good evening, Canada. We are back with a new episode of Voice of Canada. Your host, Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my female co-host, Ghada Hamdani. We have a very learned guest today, Mr. Keshav Mandadi. Dr. Keshav Mandadi.
Nice meeting you.
Welcome to our show. Will you introduce our viewers with your name and your designation?
Well, I am a professor at the University of Toronto right now, and I have a PhD in English and linguistics, and I'm a Dr. Keshav Mandadi. That's in brief.
Very good.
Okay, welcome, Dr. Mandadi. So you have PhD for a long time by now, right? And it's in languages. So you served in the Middle East as a language trainer and examiner. So could you please inform us a little bit more,
in detail now.
Sure.
What is your role?
Yeah. Prior to going to Middle East to train language for Saudi people, I was in India as an assistant commissioner for education.
Very good.
That was my first posting, and I worked in the northeastern part of India, Chandigarh, Delhi. Then I went with somebody called Dr. Muhammad Ansari, who became the vice president of India. And he landed me in that beautiful, magical kingdom called Saudi Arabia, which I never planned. It looks like my life, my destiny took me there. And I worked in Saudi Aramco, the world's best oil company then, and one of the largest. And when I saw the oil company, I couldn't believe that kind of company existed in Saudi Arabia. It was no less than California.
Yeah, it's like a 5-star.
Yeah, and there
Aramco is like a 5-star inside.
I said, I'm leaving the job in India. I've seen the best and worst of it, and this is another life. I must embrace this as it comes.
They have got their own life inside Aramco.
I applied, and it was very difficult, very difficult. They said they would give me a test being a non-native speaker, and if I do the test well, they wouldn't discriminate me against native speakers. At that time, they had about 160 trainers in the training department, and 89% were Americans or British or the white people. And they had few Arabic people. Some of them were Sudanese, very highly educated. And I was the only Indian.
Wow.
And then when they gave me the test, I got 100 out of 100. And they said, my God, this guy must be interviewed.
Intelligent guy.
Yeah.
They must be. So they decided to interview me. In the interview of an hour interview, they chose me and put me in the main center. And I began my career training Saudis. That time, Saudi Arabia was booming, and they were doing Saudization, which means they wanted to take more Saudis into the workforce. And as you know, for Arabic people, language was the main constraint, especially American oil company being a language. The English language was the most important for them to write reports and, business English and lots of things like that. So I was in the training department teaching people business English, drafting letters, drafting communication, how to present small, meetings and, things like, speaking professionally, making small presentations. I even trained managers how to go to conferences, build their confidence. Once we built their confidence, and they did extremely well, and I was so happy that I could see them grow higher. And they appreciated it. And I ended up working there for 10 years, which was very, very fruitful and highly satisfying. And it was very difficult for me to leave that country. But for my children who were growing and we wanted to move to another country, experience life, I heard beautiful things about other countries in Middle East. So we chose Oman. And I went for an interview to Sultan Qaboos University. And they took me. An interesting thing I must share here. Sultan Qaboos University gave me a choice to do the interview online through video or come in person. And I chose to go in person. And they asked me, if you are coming in person, you have to pay for your expenses. We don't cover the expenses. I said, that's fine. So after the interview, they asked me, we gave you choice of staying back in Saudi Arabia and doing this interview online. Why did you choose to come and spend all the money? I told them, no, I'm coming here to see what kind of place I'm going to work for. You are doing an interview for me. I'm also doing an interview for my family, trying to see whether I can raise kids here or not. And I'm totally convinced. And they took me and I worked there till 2013. It was an amazing job.
And how many years you worked?
I total eight years.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
total 18
very
years.
Experience
yeah,
in
absolutely.
Teaching, rather.
Yeah, I can go on record, and I was a tutor to the Crown Prince of Oman now.
Very good.
Oh,
Very
wow.
good.
And I have his
Yeah.
personal contacts, and I was his personal tutor.
Oh,
He
that's
then was
nice.
a young man going to Oxford University. Coming home, sometimes I would assist him, helping assignments and,
In his
teaching
work and
things. It's not
assignments.
about English,
Mm.
but about drafting, writing. I'm a writing
Yeah.
specialist too. So I assisted him, and His Majesty Sultan now, His Majesty, His Highness Sultan Tariq bin Said, Haytham bin Tariq al Said,
Mhm.
and it was his son, and we had the opportunity of sitting like this and having coffee with him. I'm so privileged. I thought my life is
course,
beautiful.
yeah.
Changed. No.
Yeah,
Canada is a
yeah,
very, very
yeah.
vast country and a beautiful country. God willing, you will do very well with your
Thank you.
hard work and your experience.
Thank you.
Let me assure you,
Thank
because
you.
that day also on phone I told you, don't get worried of few hurdles and hiccups. You are a man of experience. Think that, and the people who will know you, they will come forward to give a hand.
That is the
The
belief.
way I came, immediately I
Yeah.
came. I said, no,
Yeah.
this is a deserving person.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And, Dr. Mandadi, tell our viewers of Voice of Canada which year you landed in Canada, and what is your current profession, what you are doing here.
I landed here like many immigrants in 2013, and I did a bit of survey, worked in different places. Like I worked in York Catholic District School Board for 6
Uh-huh.
months.
Very good.
I worked in Halton District School Board for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I landed a job in McMaster University,
McMaster in Hamilton.
where I was there for 4.5 years. Then I
Wow.
moved to University of Toronto, where I teach in the international programs.
So
Where
which campus you are at?
it's in downtown campus called
Downtown
New College.
Toronto. Yeah.
New college. When they said it's a new college, I was new to the college. I thought I'm going to a new college. When I went there, I found that it was started in 1962.
Very old, yeah.
Very old college, and probably then it was a new college. So I was very fortunate to work in IFP, called
It's the
International
number one
Foundation
in Canada,
Program.
University of Toronto.
And I'm so proud of being part of that. And the recent summer, I ran a program for nearly 400-500 international students who come in summer, who learn business English.
Uh-huh.
Especially the most favorite program was business English. I ran for Taiwanese companies, a lot of the companies, stock exchange and all that. I've worked in that department for 3-4 years consistently, and I have the experience of designing programs,
Mm-hmm.
writing business language courses, and designing curriculum. And I was managing that program this summer. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I realize that you're licensed by Cambridge. I'm gonna let you tell us where are you licensed
All your
at, and there is
Yeah.
the IB diploma examiner as well. So I would like you to tell us more. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
IELTS certification is a very, very specialized
Mhm.
and most sought after
Field.
certification for language teachers. Many teachers apply and they don't get. And I was certified by Cambridge University in 2009 as an examiner for speaking and writing. And I worked for British Council Oman
Mm-hmm.
until I moved in here. As soon as I moved in, I got accepted in University of Toronto IELTS Center. I worked with them for a few years until they closed their center, because during COVID, they closed down their center. Then I moved to British Council Canada, where I currently do exams, both speaking and writing.
Right.
I'm recently, for the last 1 year, I've been promoted as a global examiner, where I do the exam from home. There are very few examiners allowed to run the exam from home.
Lovely.
It's a very highly
Awesome.
confidential, high-stake exams. IB is another professional qualifications I have.
It's
But
very
before the
popular and
Yeah.
in great demand.
Yeah, IB
you
is.
didn't tell us which license. What do you give the exam in?
When I
Yeah.
do the IELTS test,
You will
it's
come to
for,
that.
Yes,
IELTS
yeah.
test is 2 types, for academic
yeah.
and general. General for working people and also for the licensing, immigration and all that. For
and,
academic,
yeah.
for usually for
And,
studies
Yes.
or licensing. A lot of
And
doctors.
even while someone, what you call people coming and want to work, take a work
Yeah,
permit
they must
also,
take this.
they must take this,
this
They
this
must.
test.
So a lot of demand for this high-stake
Of course.
exam.
In high demand. This
High
test,
demand
yes.
because it's a standardized test accepted all over the world, and a lot of people take them. We don't call them students, we call them candidates.
Candidates, correct.
So now it is run throughout global through video, and I'm one of the video VCS examiner. I run this exam for countries like Senegal, South Africa,
Okay, wow.
all the way up to Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, so many
Countries.
students.
Very
Take
nice,
this
very
exam,
nice.
and not only serve the students here, candidates here in Canada, I also serve a lot of
You are
other
truly
students.
enlightened with your answers.
Yeah, and this is what I do, and I also do the marking for writing. I'm a writing specialist.
Yeah.
So the IELTS has 9 bands, and we are trained to give the bands.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Mandadi, as you are aware, in 2020, the world suffered the pandemic of COVID-19. And will you be giving us some account during COVID-19 from 2020 to 2022? What did you do and how did you play a role? You were already in Canada.
That was the most difficult times for everyone in every part of the world. Even the governments didn't know how to handle this situation. It was one of the worst natural calamities that attacked the world.
Yeah, correct.
The world was under kind of threat. People died. People were witnessing and experiencing all kinds of problems. So in terms of education, it challenged us in different ways. For example, the Zoom classes
The Zoom
came
started, believe me.
Zoom
I
classes
got to
came
know
in.
Zoom during COVID.
Yes, and we were asked to stay home and run the classes to students in China, students in Japan. My class would start early morning, 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock,
timings of
because we have to match with their timings.
because
And
they
the
are 4
university
hours
said,
ahead. Japan is here.
you want your jobs, you have to help university to stay alive. We have to serve the needs of the students.
But still, you are on the Zoom from your house or wherever your base is.
And we did that, and it was really challenging for many, many of us. There, I found 2 kinds of teachers. Teachers who learned to adapt technology and teachers who couldn't learn to adapt technology. For your information, I made a presentation in Harvard University in 2011 about the same concept. Teachers, my title of the paper was Computer Education is a Boon or a Bane. That was my title. And the conclusion I drew was the teachers who don't adapt to technology will be replaced by teachers who adapt technology. So there was a fear that technology will replace teachers. The teachers won't be needed. No, teachers will always be needed at all levels. But teachers have to catch up with the changing times.
New methods, new changes,
and that was a real challenge that we all faced. And we saw so many gave up and some survived. Yeah, it was a difficult time for everybody. And the world saw many kinds of difficulties. We can go on talking about how the people were thrown into issues.
Everything, because we never knew, we never expected during early January that this is going to flare up like anything. It will be like a wildfire.
Absolutely.
And that time there was no vaccine. And that was all chaos because so many businesses got crippled. But the developed nations, that they played their role and able to manage the vaccines. And even China made the vaccine.
India made vaccines.
And in Pune.
I was so fortunate to witness these kind of events. And I think our science and technology is so developed, advanced, that we are able to, rise to any kind of challenges the world may face.
And lots of new things started.
Exactly.
You won't believe
new kinds
during
of businesses.
COVID period only, 2021, when the lockdowns were there, I started my show. How to get connected to the people, how to make them aware, how to help them.
People mostly depended on mediums like this.
And we used to come with the mask, just remove the mask here,
and then talk.
No contact with anybody except the, and we were vaccinated, so it went off by the grace of God.
Yeah, thank goodness, we have survived, and people who couldn't survive, we are sorry for them. I wish everybody could survive, but then that's what a natural calamity
loss
means.
of human lives all over the world.
Yeah, any pandemic will have to, have this kind of...
Because Canada has got a smaller population, we salute to China and India. And USA, the third largest populated country.
Yes, So since the 2020, we went through the crisis, and we still, we haven't come out completely out of it. So we heard it from you that's why you decided to run for the Conservative Party of Canada.
Post-pandemic, give us a scenario of post-pandemic. We are still suffering.
Yes.
So some of the problems could be because of pandemic. but most problems were caused by I believe, the current government. The way they could not manage the budget, they caused inflation by printing a lot of money and spending on non-priority sectors. And most of the money was pumped into service sectors and free money. I can tell you, with due respect to Prime Minister Prime Minister Trudeau, he gave 60,000 to a lot of business people.
Yeah, to survive.
The idea was good, but many of them, it was misused.
Misuse.
And many of them took this money and they put it in housing market and they threw the money there, and the housing market skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. And then people could not manage this issue. And the interest rates were lowered, and then a lot of money was pumped into the public, and people misused that money.
And the SERB was,
a lot of free money was given.
But they caught quite a bit of few people, and they got them.
And this is one of the things I think the government didn't manage it well, and they caused.
And it was a
actually at that time, it's like people were, it's like when you lose business, it was a good from him.
But they should have also had mechanisms to check who they are giving it to. There's no point in they just anyone who had a company registered, applied, got 60,000 without much verification.
There were conditions. Lots of people get also.
And that actually
it was misused.
Yeah, misused. That didn't help
because of the situation.
And still they are repaying. Many who are caught, they are repaying still in installments.
Exactly, and it's 5%. People are paying.
We will be taking a short break and we'll be back with you soon. Welcome back after a short break in our weekly talk show Voice of Canada, which is produced by Awaz TV Entertainment. Your host Asphandiar Wadiwalla, my co-host Ghada Hamdani, and we are with Keshav Mandadi, Dr. Keshav Mandadi.
Thank you, sir.
My apologies. So, Doctor, please inform us that now you're trying to enter a new field in your life, entirely a new field, into a public office. And you are an official nomination candidate from Mississauga Cooksville for the federal riding of Conservative Party of Canada to be our next MP. So tell us what inspired you and how you decided to enter a political field, being an educationalist.
When country was... I came with a lot of hope, like many immigrants, for a better quality of life, better, country. But since I came here 2013, things were slightly better. But after the change of government, but for a few months, I started noticing everything is changing. Everything is going up, up, up. There is no quality of life. Crime is, I don't need to go into details. Every day people go to sleep with a sense of fear.
There are so many issues also.
But then, this is not the country that I want to raise my kids in. And this is the question that I face with a lot of people I meet. And they said, oh, no. And there are a lot of issues I felt they need to be addressed. Immigration, for example, being a university teacher, I see a lot of international students. Many of them come here with a great dream and hope to establish here, get quality education. Can you believe a lot of private schools, private colleges were run in small rooms? They come here and they find that they have to take a course online, even after COVID. And even now people take online courses. And they were brought here in thousands and thousands, beyond the capacity. I was told one of the colleges, I don't want to name the college, their capacity is hardly 300 students, but they bought nearly 3,000 students.
Oh, wow.
They are making money.
A scam. It becomes a
These
scam.
are all scams. So, security issues. I have a story to tell. My mom, who lived in Middle East before with me, she never felt threatened. She always felt great living with me. Soon after coming here, right in front of my house in the neighborhood, she was stopped by two individuals, and then she was robbed of her bangles and necklace. And she was asking, what kind of country you brought me into? And it was in the daylight at 3 o'clock.
And we came 25 years ago, Canada was different.
No, I hear that. When I meet elderly people like you, they tell me beautiful things about this country, how it has changed. Then I said, okay, instead of complaining, is there something I could do? See, most of the time people complain and then leave it. No, I thought I must do something. I did a lot of research about the parties and their principles. I basically aligned with.
Did you read the manifestos
Yeah,
of all
manifesto.
three parties?
Yes, exactly.
The constitution.
Constitutions, the policies, documents, and I really like the principles of Conservative Party. And they're more of developing the country, economy, making the country rich, bigger,
safe.
proud, safe. And they're focused on not wasting money on unnecessary things. Their priorities are different. You see, now that we're talking about carbon tax, it really makes no sense that you increase carbon tax. There's so many side effects. People who are bringing food, they are paying carbon tax. So customers are being taxed. It's not only the gas, very heavy. And instead of providing alternate facilities, like for example, energy incentives government could give to promote people buying EV, electric vehicles, or instead of that, they are doing carbon tax and levying it and making people think that
it's become unaffordable. A normal person cannot buy a EV.
What people could buy groceries in $300-400, people are spending $1,500 to $2,000. On one hand, government is collecting money, on the other hand, telling we are giving some checks. I don't think they have any common sense in this. So the common sense program that Pierre Poilievre, our leader, presented really attracted me. I also researched what kind of people go to parliament, and I was amazed. I was astonished to see the kind of quality of people who go to parliament. In any parliament, there should be people from all walks of life, teachers,
have you been
nurses.
To a parliament or
no, I've not been.
You should go.
Yeah.
You will have a very, very good knowledge. Believe me, you should go.
Yeah.
Prior to your election activities, go and have a visit, and go on a Wednesday, when is a question day.
Yeah, I watch every day my leader. I watch him on the television or in the,
But that day you went to Ottawa, so
it was held in a private place.
A private place, okay. Yeah, because the Prime Minister Trudeau had in Parliament.
No, this was held by my Conservative Party leader.
But that was cancelled.
The
bigger party was
then
cancelled.
They arranged another party. It was just day before yesterday, on 5th. So we went there, and then... No, I thought there should be a mix of people in the parliament, people drawn from all walks of life, and teachers, nurses, doctors, engineers, tradesmen. But I see a lot of real estate people are in the parliament.
Majority.
And business people. I know, I said I must go there. I made up my decision and I'm running for a nomination. I'm seeking nomination from Mississauga East Cooksville. That is the riding I've been living in since I came to Canada. And I'm the only candidate who stays in the riding, and I know my community better than anybody.
You know your riding very well.
Yeah, I know.
You know the constituents very well.
I know all the people here. I mix with my constituents. I deal with them. I brought people together. I have made a lot of connections. I door knock people. I meet them. I hear their stories and I hear their problems. And sometimes patiently, sometimes they're angry, even then I patiently listen to them. I turn them into Conservative Party.
So, Doctor, tell our viewers, what are the major changes you would like to bring in your riding?
Now, we will see a major change once Pierre Poilievre takes over. He has a great plan for this country. The first thing he's going to do is to
tax the
taxes. In different ways, the taxes are being collected. He will make sure the life is affordable. Housing is affordable. He will bring home the country that the people always wanted to dream and live about.
But it will take time.
It will take time, of course. He has a great vision.
It will take time.
I wouldn't say
the conditions are so bad.
We are going to.
Corruption has also increased. Red tape has increased in our country.
He is going to break all that. He is going to break all that.
And it will take time in a hard way to bring changes.
Yeah, actually, when I listened to him, I fell in love with his power of passion, the leadership qualities. An amazing leader. He's a
very old and conservative.
Yeah. And he has a modern outlook, even among the conservatives. I know some of them have criticized, but I believe he has a very different approach to the problems.
We are happy that you like our leader of our conservative party.
I do, and I'm his fan. Yeah. I follow him on my Twitter, on my Instagram, and I watch him regularly. We learn a lot of things. And we are here to make sure that he is going to be the Prime Minister, and we are going to support him.
Thank you.
Okay. So you're in education field, and now if you go to the parliament, if God will, and so how would you be able to handle the pressure of the duties at the riding and then at the parliament? So what is your?
So will you be able to balance yourself because you are from a different field?
True.
From education, that's a very
You
mind
know,
and a sensible
I
thinking.
get your point.
But in politics,
It's
entirely
different.
different.
I hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Teaching is also not an easy job. Many
No, it's
people
not an
think.
easy, but it's a very professional thing.
Yeah, this is what we learn, how to work under pressure, how to manage. We deal with human beings on a daily basis, and especially in the 21st century, this generation of students are very challenging. It's not like those
No,
students.
it's entirely changed.
These students don't come to university to study. They come for different purposes.
Yeah, they party more.
And then, we have learned to manage them, educate them. I'm an educator, basically, and I believe in developing human beings and seeing them succeed in their life. And I'm going to bring a lot of transferable skills that I have to work in politics, to deal with different kinds of people, work on different kinds of pressure. Well, I think I have the resources and capabilities.
But Doctor, you know the current requirement. You have to sign members for the party.
Yes, sir.
And if you work really hard on the day of a nomination meeting, and if your voters turn out, they come and vote for you, then no power on earth can say no to you.
I totally get it.
To fight the federal
I
elections.
understood this game very easily. It's not a rocket science. As soon as I decided to run for this position, I started meeting people, calling them in groups to discuss, and converted them into memberships. And I can proudly say I have more than 1,000 members today.
Very good.
And it's the biggest number that anyone has here.
Good.
Plus,
you've got the guts to announce.
I have no problem, and I know
Otherwise, other candidates you don't announce.
No, they don't announce because of for various reasons. But I can tell you, in recent annual general meeting we had for the EDA,
AGM you had.
AGM, and they said
1/4 of the house is yours. That's what I heard.
No, 90% house was mine. 90%.
And now you're about 10 board member directors.
Yes, on the board.
Just got 10 out of 30.
And plus, what I understood was they announced about their 2,000 members by end of August. And I knew how many I had put in. I had put in 700-800 by then. And then out of that, 400 or 450 were past members from the continuing.
And you contacted them also.
Past members. So 450, my members 700-800, which comes to around 1,300-1,400. And the remaining, my competitors have made 400-500 maximum. So there is no comparison, and I'm not scared of anybody
But
right
Doctor,
now.
your constituencies are very complex.
Yes.
As I told you earlier on phone also, you have to be very careful. There are so many communities.
Yes.
And every community's got their own
vote bank
issues,
and
vote bank,
issues,
their
and
issues,
their diversity.
and diversity is there, and various factors are involved.
I agree.
Because I have worked in your riding. My friend was getting elected, Zoran Churchill, as I told you. So I know the riding thoroughly well. It's a very, very tricky. Even Lizon, MP Lizon was there in Cooksville. So we have seen that riding. We have been to, but now it has changed quite a bit.
They changed, but not so drastically. Still, we have a lot of East Europeans, Polish.
Yes, correct.
A lot of Arabic population now, and Pakistani
Muslims
population.
Are there.
Muslims.
Pakistanis are there.
You know, advantage with me, I can tell surahs from Quran.
Wow.
And I was most liked by
because you're
Muslims.
a learned person.
And I understand them better than anybody. I speak Arabic too. I speak 3-4 Indian languages. I speak Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, bit of Punjabi too. I worked in places like Chandigarh, Delhi. And I worked in the northern part of India, northeastern part of India, where I picked up a bit of Bengali too. So these are my advantages. I'm a people's person. I have enrolled a lot of Pakistani population, Arabic population into members. They are traditionally liberals. And
but do your homework well, that they should all come out and
exactly
vote, because your constituents will be the educated ones, the cream a la cream from Cooksville, but you have to take them out. Make foolproof arrangements that each and everyone come out and vote for you.
I constantly engage the members. It's not that I do membership, sell them and then forget them. No, I often meet them. I have a program to meet
Meet and greet your
everybody,
constituents,
in groups I meet them, have coffee with
So
them.
you should not worry
Sometimes,
about
no,
your
no, no.
opponents.
In fact, they are waiting every day, asking me when this, why this late, and all that. And I also have created a team, volunteers who are so passionate, about 100 volunteers
Wow.
and 25 team members. Each team member has already been assigned members,
Oh, wow.
certain number of members, and who in turn keeps engaging them, meeting them,
Yeah.
talking to them in different
You
parts
do
of
your best, Doctor.
Yeah.
And as a media supporter, we will invite you again to our show
Thank
because
you.
we are watched worldwide. And even Canada also,
Thank you.
we are on our national
Yeah.
cable networks also. So would you like to give us the final remarks because our time for today's interview is over?
No, I request all my constituents, I want to talk to them through this
Please give a
medium.
final message to your constituents.
I want them to select an educated person. Education doesn't mean
And
having
the right
degrees.
candidate.
The right candidate who can be their voice, who understands what to speak, when to speak, and how to deal with
And how
that.
to
Implement that.
Yeah.
And I am a common man, and I'm one of their faces, and I live in the riding. I'm the only one among the contestants who live in the riding. All other my competitors come from elsewhere. And I'm trying to appeal to my constituents that, please select me as one of your representatives, and I
make
will
you an MP for a House
I
of
will never
Commons.
fail you. You will never regret having done your vote for me, and I will make you all proud one day, and I will serve the party and the constituents with all sincerity and dedication. This is a great opportunity for you to choose me and for me to be there.
And for
Thank
you
very
also,
much.
it is going to be a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Because 2-3 days ago, you saw the elections across the border.
Yeah.
Now the trend of elections have changed. So the blue wave is coming. The Conservatives
have
are
to
coming
turn.
into power.
Yeah.
So you have to turn Canada once again blue,
Blue.
which was like during Stephen Harper's time.
We want to
Prime Minister.
make Pierre Poilievre the Prime Minister who will change this country's direction in a different way. Lot of jobs in the private sector have disappeared. And unless we have a strong private sector, our country cannot grow economically, very strong. That is where our leader is focused. He has great plans for immigration, great plans for housing, great plans for the taxes, great plans for everything, every aspect of ruling the country.
I'm glad that you are so inclined to our party and so much interested in our leaders' caliber.
Thank you.
So with that note, we'll be ending this week's episode of Voice of Canada. We'll be back next week. Keep watching our show, Voice of Canada, every Saturday at 8 p.m. Now we are also being viewed on Rogers and Shah Cable Network, plus all our other component networks for worldwide viewing. So see you next week. God bless Canada. God save our King.
Thank you.